Hope, dear students, that you are fine. So, on your demand, I'm again with physics guess for you, in which we will discuss the complete marks distribution of each unit, and I will also tell you that from which units you are going to expect long answer type questions carrying 5 marks. So, let's start with the unit first, that is the electrostatics. It carries 8 marks, and first of all, you will prepare Coulomb's law in vector form. Here you will also study in scalar form, but vector form will be very important. Then you will study electric field intensity. Here the derivation on axial and equatorial line of an electric dipole. This will be very important. Similarly, next you will study Gauss's theorem and its application. Next, electric potential. Here you will study the derivation due to a point charge. And next is Van de Graaff generator, its construction, principle and working. Next you will study about capacitor, its derivation for energy stored in a capacitor. Next you will study here the short topics, that is superposition principle, quantization and conservation of charge. Similarly, what is electric flux, equipotential surface. Similarly, properties of electric and magnetic lines of force. Now let's move towards the next chapter, that is the current electricity. It carries 7 marks. So first off, here you will study Kirchhoff's law and its application. Next is Wheatstone bridge. Next you will study potentiometer, its principle, application. Similarly, next you will study difference between EMF and potential difference. Similarly, drift velocity and relationship between drift velocity and relaxation time. So relaxation time, you should know about this. Similarly, here you will also derive relationship between drift velocity and electric current. Next you will study what is power. Similarly, color code for carbon resistor, effect of temperature on resistance, and similarly resistor. And next you will derive Ohm's law by using concept of drift velocity. Similarly, what are ohmic and non-ohmic conductors? Next unit is magnetic effects of current and magnetism. It carries 8 marks. So first of all, you will here study Biot-Savart's law, its application. Next, Ampere's circuit law, its application. Next, you will derive an expression for force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Similarly, derive an expression for torque acting on an electric dipole placed in a uniform electric field. Next, you will study expression for magnetic field intensity on axial or equatorial line of magnetic field. Next, you should know the magnetic elements of Earth. Similarly, magnetic properties, that is diamagnetic, paramagnetic, ferromagnetic substances. And similarly, you should also derive an expression for magnetic field due to solenoid or toroid. Similarly, moving coil galvanometer, sometimes its principle, construction, working and theory it's asked. Next, you will study here conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter and ammeter. And similarly, what is Lorentz force? Next chapter is electromagnetic induction and alternating currents. Here you will study, first of all, you have to derive an expression for impedance of LCR series circuit. Similarly, power consumed in LCR series circuit. And similarly, you will derive an expression for resonant frequency here. Next, very important, that is either AC generator or transformer. So transformer, it is very important. Here you will study its principle, construction, working and theory. Next, small topics are Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, Lenz's law, self and mutual induction, eddy currents and their application. Similarly, sometimes expression for RMS value of alternating current, it's also asked. It's important, you will study this. Next chapter is electromagnetic waves. So it has only 3 marks. So the earlier unit, that is electromagnetic induction and alternating current, that was having 8 marks. So this electromagnetic waves, it has only 3 marks. So here you will study why ground wave propagation, it is not suitable for high frequency. Similarly, why sky waves are not used in TV transmission. And you will here study about the difference between ground wave, sky wave and space wave propagation. Next, you will study here properties and uses of electromagnetic radiations, that is microwave, IR, UV, X-rays, gamma rays, etc. Next unit is very important, that is the optics. it carries 14 marks. Here, value-based question is asked from lens maker's formula. Similarly, thin lenses formula. Similarly, you will study here total internal reflection and its application. Similarly, you will here define wavefront and verify laws of reflection or refraction on the basis of Huygens principle. Similarly, you will study Young's double slit experiment and expression for fringe width. This will be very important. Mirror formula for concave and convex mirror. And similarly, you should know about the reason that why sky is having blue color. Similarly, reddish appearance during sunrise and sunset. Similarly, why clouds are generally white. And similarly, you will here study in brief Brevister's law and Mal's law. The next chapter is dual nature of matter and radiation. It carries 4 marks. So here you will just study, you will derive here Einstein's photoelectric equation, and you will study laws of photoelectric emission. Similarly, derive an expression for de Broglie's wave equation. Sometimes numerical is asked from here. So next unit is atoms and nuclei. So from this atoms and nuclei, it carries 6 marks. You will study limitations of Rutherford's model and Bohr's model. Particularly, you will study here its postulates, and you should be able to calculate radius of Bohr's orbit. Similarly, speed and energy of an electron in Bohr's atom. Next is nuclear forces. You will study here, and what is radioactive decay law and half-life period, decay constant. You should have knowledge of this. And similarly, binding energy, its expression, and what is mass defect. Next unit is electronic devices. It carries 7 marks. So here you should have concept of band theory, with the help of which you can differentiate between insulator, conductor, and semiconductor. Similarly, you should have the knowledge of here PN junction diode as a full and half wave rectifier. Similarly, Zener diode as voltage regulator, and similarly working of NPN and PNP transistor. Similarly, working of forward bias and reverse bias, and characteristics of PN junction diode. And very important is logic gates, OR, AND, NOT, NAND, and NOR. And what you had to study about these: truth table and Boolean expression. Next and the last unit, that is your communication system. It carries 5 marks. So here you will study elements of communication system, modulation and demodulation. So now let me tell you that from which units you are expecting long answer type question carrying 5 marks. That's your unit number first, electrostatics. Next is optics, and similarly next unit will be electromagnetic induction and alternating current. So hope that you will prepare it all. Thank you for watching and wish you all the very best.